If you're in the market for a pair of headphones and you ask people online, you're going to get any number of recommendations. Nothing really concrete, though. No reasoning except for the odd response singing the praises of the flat response. Ooh. And we're going to get to that in a bit. But what should you be looking for when buying a pair of these? Let's take a look at that. Just so you know, I'm going to link up some options in different price ranges down in the video description. And so you know, any purchases made through those links do go to help the channel. So thank you if you're using them. So what is the difference between studio headphones like these, gaming headphones, or, like Beats? Well, studio headphones are meant to offer up a wide frequency range as well as a flat one, meaning there is little coloration of the frequencies. On the other side of that coin, the consumer headphones that are offered up for music listening have tuned EQ profiles and they're rarely flat. So your beats are meant to accentuate, the beats. Bass is boosted in a lot of different brands of headphones, and if you tried to mix in something like that, you're going to be boosting or bringing down frequencies that really aren't there, which will make your audio sound like crap to anyone not wearing that exact pair of headphones. But if you mix with the flat frequency, you'll have decent audio on the final product that will sound good through any speaker or headphone. Okay then, just drop a ton of cash and get the best studio headphones you can buy, right? You're golden. Well, hold up. There are two distinctions of studio headphones that you may want to consider. There's closed back, like these ones, and open back. Closed back are great for isolating the listener and not allowing outside noise in. Once sealed around your ear, it can be rather immersive, though it does come at a cost of fidelity. Those closed backs can allow resonances and low-end frequencies to build up. On the other hand, open back are much better at sounding natural, but they don't isolate you from the outside noise, nor does it keep all the audio in your headphones. So there is some bleed, which boils down to one thing. Are you using the headphones at the same time as a microphone? Well, if that's the case, you may want to consider closed back headphones so you don't get some of that audio feeding back through the mic. And if you're doing critical listening, like mastering a song, well, open back is generally the way to go, which leads us to what kind of user are you? This is the part where you can save yourself some money in the long run. Now, it all depends on what your workload is. There are three types of users. You have monitors, you have mixers, and masters. Monitors are people that are literally just using the headphones to monitor levels, maybe some plosives, but nothing really too finicky. Then you have the mixers. These are the ones that are matching levels on audio, which might take a little more attention paid towards the frequencies. And then you have the masters. They're the ones that are, wait for it, mastering. Usually very frequency specific listening. Now, depending on which one you are, you can imagine the price of headphones goes up with more money spent on more frequency specific work, right? Okay then, let's take a look at what specifically you might be looking for in the headphones. This is one that cannot be argued. The more you spend, the better the build. Really no comparing. And this doesn't mean that they're going to be more rugged. In fact, a lot of open back headphones are actually more fragile than some cheap closed back ones. But the materials used and the stress points are less as you climb the product stack. Now, there is a better feel to them and perhaps a few less rattling parts. That's really important when choosing a pair of headphones. This one, though, is a bit weird. For the most part, you won't have too many anomalies when listening through most studio headphones. Once again, though, depending on what you're doing, the flatness of the headphone is paramount. And of course, yes, a $200 pair of studio headphones will sound better than a $30 pair. But as with most audio gear, there is a diminishing rate of return on the audio quality as you climb the product stack. And the differences become more nuanced and may be preferred by one over the other. Just keep that in mind when selecting your next pair. However, the one thing that does not have diminishing rate of return is comfort. And this one might go hand in hand with the build quality, but also not really. One of my favorite headphones for comfort were my Audio-Technica M40S. It's really gross right now. They just fit my head so well, and they were cheap. But if you're planning on wearing these things for hours at a time, there are some considerations that you might want to make. Cheaper headphones will have cheaper cups and headbands. They'll feel okay at first, but they do wear out quicker. That may seem inconsequential now, but in the long run, it does make a massive difference. Now, the clamping pressure is also something to consider. Depending on the size of your head, you may need more or less clamping force. And it really does help with the isolation. If it isn't clamping hard enough on your noggin, you might not be getting the best seal. And if it's clamping too hard on your head, it'll probably give you a headache. And finally, materials. This is one of the most important things to consider for longevity of your headphones. So, the materials used in the cups and the headband vary brand to brand, and you'll see the outcome from your heavy use. Now, the Shure SRH 840s that I have here, they include replacement cups because they know they will end up like this. In the cheaper models, like the M40s here, you can see how badly they degraded. Just so you know, this is not comfortable. And as you spend more, the long-term comfort does seem to appreciate as well. And what about features? That's the next thing you should be looking for. Now, the list isn't super long, but some of these can really help in the comfort department and the longevity of the headphones. First up is a detachable cord. This is a big one, especially if the cord breaks. Now, if you aren't handy with a soldering iron, well, detachable cords can get your headphones back up and working quickly. Also, if you don't like the style of a cord, you can easily swap it out for another one, which does come in handy from time to time. And then there's cup movement. Having the ability to swivel the angle of the cup is a huge benefit, especially if you like to have one ear off, especially if you don't want that audio getting back into the microphone. Now, most modestly priced headphones do offer this, but be wary if they don't have any movement, as over time, it can lead to them wearing out and breaking or just being super uncomfortable. And finally, replaceable ear cups. Now, I have had a few that didn't have replaceable cups, but there were some aftermarket replacements available. Doesn't always work, doesn't always fit, and isn't always the best option. Now, before we get into final thoughts, hey, if you like this video, hit the like button, show a bit of love. If you really liked it and think that we can be BFFs, well, try that other button, BFF. So then, how much of your budget should go to headphones? Well, to answer that, let's go back to my list of users. Now, if you're a monitor, maybe you're just listening to yourself while recording, maybe trying to stay on mic, maybe even for plosives. You really don't have to go that big. Honestly, something like the Audio-Technica M20X is a great option, and frankly, almost overkill. If this is your method, you can even get by with earbuds. I mean, if you really need to. If you're a mixer, perhaps you're doing some podcast mixing, or maybe you're dubbing in some light music. Well, this range will be starting out around the $100 mark, something like the Shure SRH 440s, or even the Audio-Technica M40X. Really, anything with the middle of the pack here should be a good starting point. Do keep in mind, though, this middle of the pack isn't all that small. You're going to want to find similar performance, but nicer comfort features as you get closer to $200 or $250. And of course, you have the master. Now, if you are a master or you're mastering audio, you probably don't need my input, but you're looking at something like the Sennheiser HD660S, or even higher up the stack with the Beyerdynamic DT1990 Pro. Sexy names as you go high up. Really though, the sky is the limit, because you may notice one thing here. The headphones I mentioned are all open back, which is pretty important if you're mastering. Now, did this help at all? Let me know down in the comments which ones you're going for. My preference lies with the Shure line, the SRH 840s. I wanted to get the 940s, but they were a little more expensive, and you can get the velour ear cups separately. So let me know, which ones are you picking up? Cheers, and I will see you in the next video.